I'll show you how to fix a leaking toilet. We'll start with this valve. These are usually pretty reliable, but this one's leaking. Here you can see it just dripping. Remove the handle. We'll clean everything up. We'll look to see exactly where the leak's coming from. Everything's dry, so we'll just wait for a drip to start. Dry toilet paper on the floor, so as soon as it drips, you'll see one drip of water and we'll see it. While you're waiting, you can check all the other fittings to make sure there's nothing leaking. With everything dry, just running your fingers down, you'll be able to feel anything wet. I just saw a drop come up from up above. We'll snug everything up hand tight first. You don't want to over tighten anything. Sometimes you could take a pliers and just do like an 1/8 of a turn or as little as you can. Usually it doesn't take much of a turn at all. Usually these will all seal up hand tight, but a pair of pliers will give you just a little bit more. I snugged everything up just a little bit more and we'll just wait for that drip. I see water coming from the toilet bolt right here. We'll place the handle back on since we found the leak. This is a little bit loose, so I can tighten it up a little bit by a little bit with pliers or a wrench. If it continues to leak, sometimes the rubber gets brittle, so it's just easier to replace everything new. Turn off the water supply. Flush the toilet to get as much water as you can out of the tank. Remove the lid. Remove the water out of the tank. Use a rag or a sponge to get the water out of the bottom of the tank. If you don't get the water out of the tank, it's just going to go all over the floor. Loosen the nuts. You may have to hold it from the top to break it loose. Pull out the bolt at the bottom of the tank. If the rubber is hard and brittle, you're going to need to replace it. This feels pretty good. We'll completely clean these on a wire wheel. The wire wheel makes it a lot cleaner. Got all the metal parts cleaned up. We'll recondition all these rubber parts. We'll use silicone grease because it's safe for the rubber parts. We'll rub in the silicone grease. We'll rub the silicone grease into all of the rubber parts. If you do replace the rubber parts, it's a good idea to put silicone grease on those. Any other grease than silicone is going to break down the rubber, so don't do that. We'll put everything together. Make sure the nuts spin on nice and easy. Clean up all the mating surfaces. Make sure everything's really clean. You can see we pulled a lot of dirt off those. Place the cleaned or the new hardware in. When we tighten these up, we'll tighten them up by hand, not a wrench. You could break the toilet that way. Equally tighten everything up from underneath. These will seal hand tight. In fact, a lot of people, if this is leaking, they'll use a wrench and they'll crack the toilet. The tank will wobble a little bit, but it's good and tight now. We'll put some water in the tank and see if it seals. You don't need a lot of water. We'll watch it for a while and make sure it's sealed. For about 20 minutes, I don't see any leaks anywhere. After about an hour, there's still a drip, so we'll keep looking for a wet spot. Tighten it up a little bit more on this nut. There's no more drips, so the leak is fixed.